Do you want to learn how to master studying in CRNA school? My name is Christine and welcome to a new video. If this is your first time here and you want to grow your CRNA career or become a CRNA, start now by subscribing and hitting the bell so you don't miss a thing. In this video, I'm going to tell you step by step how to master studying in CRNA school. It definitely can be rough when you're in school and now you were an ICU nurse maybe for a couple years, 10 years, and now you're back into the mindset of being in school. Well, here is where you'll learn how to get yourself right back into the action of studying and being one of the most effective students in school. Now try to stick around till the end of the video because I have 3 special tips from my experience that did wonders when I was in school. Tip number 1, what type of learner you are. Are you a visual learner? Are you an audio learner? Are you more of a learner of being taught to? Definitely figure out that early on so you can figure out what studying styles will work best for you. Next tip would be to stay organized. Make a plan. Organize all of your daily activities. See what things that is top priority versus low priority and put that in a list. And that can definitely help you organize yourself to help you plan your future in regards to studying. As well as staying organized, plan ahead. Try not to procrastinate and wait till the last minute because it definitely will hinder you. Just remind yourself you want to be the best that you can be as a CRNA student. And if you do start studying ahead and reviewing content early, when you do have to have an exam or a paper, you're well ahead. If you don't like studying ahead of time, I can definitely understand that because when I was a nurse, I honestly studied the night before. I used to write my papers the night before. Now, CRNA school is definitely a whole nother world. The information that you're going to be learning is going to be definitely rigorous. So what I've learned is if I have a paper that's maybe due in a month, I may start brainstorming and write down notes of like what I'm going to talk about, what I'm going to focus on, and maybe do a Google document and document how you're going to brainstorm writing this paper, a little outline. Now for an exam, I may make myself like a review sheet to help myself prepare myself. It may be a very rough, very thin, bare a review sheet, but writing down the topics that I'm going to be tested on is definitely important to get my mind ready for what I'm going to study for a specific exam. Now, when you're studying in the library or at home in your office or on the beach, whatever works for you, definitely focus on one topic at a time. So, for example, if you have pathophysiology and you have physics, take time to organize, all right, what's my priority here? I have an exam tomorrow in physics, or I have a paper for research. Now, try to organize a time. Maybe I'm going to take 30 minutes on one topic, 30 minutes on another topic, and then maybe do that again. Because sometimes you get lost in studying. You may be studying for a specific topic, and sometimes you don't understand content, and you're just sitting there for hours and just draining yourself on that topic. Sometimes you need to take a break. So I would say, hey, put a timer, give yourself an hour on one topic, and then step away from it. And then come back to it in the future. Definitely dividing up the work makes it more manageable, makes you be able to deal with the information that is presented in front of you. Also, you should reward yourself for completing specific tasks. One of the most essential parts of studying is taking breaks. Now, a lot of studies have shown that if you study for 45 minutes, you should take at least a 10 to 15 minute break. You may say, I have tons of information to study. But no matter what, after that 45-minute mark, the absorption rate of the content just starts decreasing over time. And it's not going to be effective. It's going to be meaningless. So definitely take breaks. To tie that in with taking breaks, you got to sleep. I know you may say to yourself, I need to stay up all night and study. When I was in school, my husband, I actually gave him the okay to tell me that, hey, it is time to go to sleep. It is time to take a break. And he would come and I had a baby when I was in school, and click this link above because you can learn how I survived CRNA school with a newborn. In addition to sleeping is when your mind is resting and you actually get to absorb a lot of the content when you're sleeping. It also sharpens your focus and it improves your working memory. Definitely another tip would be set a schedule. You'll make it more productive if you take time to have sessions. So you may take an hour for physics, an hour for pathophysiology, an hour for planning for your next day in clinicals. Just try to give yourself a plan and set a schedule so you can abide by it, so you can cover a lot more information. Another really good tip that really helped me was taking notes when I was in class. Now, I'm a person that is a visual learner as well as when I write. For some reason, I actually understand the content better. Also, another key thing that I learned in CRNA school, a lot of the topics that were discussed in class was a lot of the information that would be on the exam. A lot of times the professors will hit on certain topics in class. They may not expand 100% on it, but they'll hit on certain topics, and you realize over time that a lot of those topics will be on the exam. So writing notes and taking ideas that you realize that's important that was discussed, definitely read all the content in the book, but focus in on certain areas that your professor was focusing on in class to help you with passing the exam. One of the bonus tips would be to get a recorder. You need to get yourself a recorder to record all of your classes. Why? Is because a lot of times, like I said before, is that a lot of the content discussed in class will be on your exams. And as well as sometimes you may have a student in class that may answer something in regards to a topic that's really thorough and you're like, wow, that made sense. Now you can listen to that over and over and make it solidify in your brain. As well as, say, for example, you're driving in your car, or you're doing laundry, or you're cleaning your house, or you're making dinner. You can put that recorder in your ear and listen to those topics while you're doing normal tasks in your house. So now you can actually study while you're actually doing errands, which is great. For me, what worked really well was making flashcards. It may not be big paragraph flashcards, but I'll do bullet points of certain topics that were really essential for me to understand in the book as well as in the class. I liked making tables, making graphs, and going through all my content in that way. So when I had to study, maybe do a little review before the morning of an exam, I would just go through my little tips. Also, taking notes in class and in lecture will keep your mind engaged on the content being learned in class, as well as narrow the knowledge and content for exams. Depending on you, you may like studying in a group or maybe one-on-one, or maybe over the phone. Well, when I was in school, I actually had one of my classmates, we were really close, and we would talk over the phone and then go through topics that were important. And actually, we would actually sit there in class and say to ourselves, hey, when we do our call, we're going to actually go through this, that, and the third. We used to even go through the book chapters together and read through it and actually explain it to each other. And honestly, that helped me a lot with understanding the content. Also remember, you will not know everything. And there's always someone in your class or who you're studying with that may be really good at certain content. And it's great to bounce ideas off that person, as well as you may be strong in a certain area that you'll be great to explain that to someone. So now teaching is the best way of really solidifying the information for exams and for your career as a CRNA. Now, say for example, you're in school and you talk to your classmates, you had your study session, and there's still things that you just don't understand. It's still not clicking. I honestly recommend setting up an appointment with your professor. They always have office hours, maybe for an hour on a Monday or Thursday, whatever time they have. Definitely send them an email and say, hey, I have these 3 things that are really bugging me. I'm really not understanding it. And definitely set up an appointment with them and try to go over the information that you don't understand. Here is another bonus tip that really helped me a lot. I would use practice exams from Valley Anesthesia. I would also use practice exams that were in certain textbooks. Nowadays, I've heard that the schools are recommending APEX. Now, that's a perfect way of going through exams and practicing. And then you can sit on APEX and go through an exam specific to the information that you're going to be being tested on and solidify the information that way. But a lot of times the exams, you may know the information. It's all about test taking skills. Now, another tip that really helped is to review all of your previous exams. We all don't get hundreds, but maybe you do. Not me. But whenever I was in school and I did have exams, I would always go to the professor and review my exam to see what questions I got right, what questions I got wrong, and then discuss how I could have done better. Now, at the end of the year, sometimes there will be a final exam. A lot of time that I've learned throughout my experience, that a lot of times the previous questions that they realize a lot of students got wrong, they re-ask it on the final exam. So always go through your previous exams and understand what you got right, what you got wrong. And then when you do have your final, at least you'll have some exam questions that you really know. Now, always remind yourself to keep hydrated. Make sure you're eating. Make sure you're taking care of yourself, because you want to study for hours. Yes, I did it, but you got to stay hydrated. You got to eat. You got to feed your brain so you can be the most effective study person in school. If I missed any specific study tip that worked best for you, definitely put in the comments below so we can all share our wealth of knowledge in regards to maximizing and mastering studying in CRNA school. If you want to learn more about CRNA, start now by subscribing and hitting the bell so you don't miss a thing. Thank you so much for watching this video, and click one of these videos over here, and I'll see you in the next video.